He froze at the cafe door, the warm aroma of coffee in his lungs, when his eyes fell on her. The world blurred around him, the chatter, the clinking cups, the laughter, all faded when he saw the frail figure curled against the wall outside. A girl, shivering, dirt smudged across her cheeks, her clothes torn and thin against the night's chill. A beggar, yet not just any beggar. It was her. The girl who had once stolen his heart, and then shattered it without a word, vanishing from his life as though she had never existed. But now, she was here. And broken. He stood there, torn between anger, pity, and the ghost of a love that had never really died. Would he walk past her? Or would he kneel beside the very girl who once left him with nothing but unanswered questions? This is their story. The rain had just begun to fall when Ayaan stepped into the cafe that night. He had spent the day working, deadlines suffocating him, his chest aching from memories he still couldn't escape. He had been trying to heal for years, telling himself that love wasn't meant for him, that some people are just lessons, not forever. But the truth? He never forgot her. Her name was Zara. 2 years ago, she was his everything, sunlight in his dark days, laughter in his loneliest nights. They made promises, whispered dreams, and built plans that seemed unshakable. Until one evening, without reason, without explanation, she disappeared. No calls, no messages. Just silence. He waited. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Eventually, he forced himself to move on, but the wound never healed, it simply hid beneath his routine. And now, fate had decided to rip that wound wide open. He stood at the cafe's glass door, staring at her. Zara, once full of life, now reduced to a beggar on the street. Her hair unkempt, her eyes hollow, her hands trembling as she clutched an old shawl tighter around her body. People walked past her without a glance, their umbrellas tilting away as though she were invisible. But she wasn't invisible to him. She never could be. His first instinct was anger. How dare she? He thought. She left me without a word. And now she sits here, expecting pity. But then his chest tightened as her head lifted slightly. For a second, her tired eyes met his through the glass. There was recognition, sharp, painful, undeniable. She knew him. And in that gaze, he didn't see betrayal. He saw desperation. Shame. Fear. Without realizing it, his feet carried him outside. The rain dampened his shirt as he knelt in front of her. Zara, he whispered. Her lips trembled. She didn't say his name. She only turned her face away, as though she didn't deserve to be seen. Ayaan felt the years of pain collide with the present moment. He wanted answers, but the sight of her shivering left his questions hanging in the storm. He couldn't walk away. Not tonight. They sat across from each other inside the cafe, warmth replacing the icy air. Zara's hands clutched the mug of tea he had bought for her, though she barely sipped it. Her eyes stayed on the table, avoiding his. Ayaan studied her. This wasn't the girl he remembered, the girl who loved to argue about books, who would tease him for taking life too seriously. That girl had been replaced by someone fragile, carrying secrets in her silence. Finally, he broke it. Why did you leave, Zara? No calls, no messages. You disappeared, and now I find you here, begging on the street. His voice cracked, his anger tangled with sorrow. Her shoulders shook, and for a long moment, she said nothing. Then, in a whisper that trembled like a wounded bird, she spoke. I didn't leave because I wanted to. I left because I had no choice. Ayaan's brow furrowed. What do you mean? Tears slipped down her cheeks, tracing paths through the dirt on her face. My father, he owed money. To people you don't argue with, people who don't forgive. They threatened you, Ayaan. They said if I didn't disappear, they'd hurt you. I couldn't risk your life. So I left. I thought. I thought if I stayed away, you'd be safe. I didn't know it would end like this for me. Ayan's breath caught. The anger he had carried for years dissolved in an instant, replaced by a crushing weight of sorrow. All those nights he cursed her name, all those moments he believed he wasn't enough, it had never been about him. She had left to protect him. Zara, he whispered, reaching across the table to hold her trembling hands. She flinched at first, ashamed, but then slowly let him. He looked at her, broken but still the girl he once loved. And in that moment, he made a silent vow. I don't care about the past anymore. I don't care about the people who hurt you, or the reasons you thought you had to leave. What I care about, is this moment. You're here, with me. And I won't let you go through this alone. Zara's tears spilled freely, her body shaking as years of pain poured out in sobs. For the first time in forever, she wasn't alone. The café buzzed around them, but for Ayan and Zara, time stilled. Outside, the rain eased, as though the storm itself had decided to rest. And inside, two broken hearts, once separated by fear and silence, found their way back to each other, one fragile step at a time. Sometimes, the people who leave us are the ones who love us most, they carry secrets, sacrifices, and silent battles we may never understand. And sometimes, life gives us a second chance, not to relive the past, but to rewrite the future with forgiveness, courage, and love.